So, how do you start a podcast?
So how do you start a podcast? Okay, so first thing you'd have to do is make sure you have adequate equipment. You have to make sure you got microphones. You might need headphones. You're definitely gonna need some sort of audio workstation. You got to create an RSS feed, which requires a certain type of account, and that way it sends it to all the different
No,
destinations.
I literally meant how do you start a podcast?
Oh, you mean like start this episode?
Right.
Oh, just do what you would normally do. You got communication degrees. Act like we still on the radio. How about that?
Okay. Well, this is Tara.
Oh, and I'm Ryan. Thought you were gonna introduce me. Yeah, Tara Talks. Ryan listens. This is episode 1 of the official podcast. If you're tuning in for the first time right now, there is a episode that's online right now. It's from back when we worked at a radio station here in Northwest Arkansas, where we're located. So, that particular Valentine's Day special episode that we would always do every year was a pretty big deal, which is why we're continuing to do that again this year. This time, since we're no longer with the radio station, we're starting a podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy because we both have communication degrees
Yup.
and just have always had a passion for all things related to communication, whether that's writing or radio, TV, broadcast journalism, all of those things, photography.
And I'm a photographer in real life. I also do music production. So audio podcasting, this whole setup thing was kind of second nature to me.
Yeah, and I've been writing relationship advice for 10 years now.
Oh wow.
Wow.
You
So
have.
yeah, if you count
Wow.
college.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is again second nature for me. And so people have been asking us to start a podcast for quite some time. So here we
Mike
are.
Day.
Here we are. Here you go.
No, for a shout out to Mike Day. What's up, bro?
Yes.
So yeah. Again, this is just for fun. We finna have some fun with this. We had fun at the radio station until it wasn't fun anymore, and now we're just gonna have fun right here. Welcome to Versatile Optics Studio. That's what this is, Versatile Optics Studio. Versatile Optics Studio is wherever I set up a microphone.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
VersatileOptics.com. So yeah, we have now branched into podcasting with Versatile Optics. So yeah.
So when this will air, it'll be Valentine's Day.
It should be Valentine's Day. So if you're hearing my voice right now, today is February 14th. Unless you're listening on the 15th.
Which means that it's almost discounted candy day.
It's almost discount candy. That's the
My
best
candy
part.
jar is getting low, and
That
it's time
is
for
the
me to
best
restock. I'm
part.
still eating Christmas candy and a little bit of Halloween candy, if I'm gonna be honest.
Wow.
But mostly Christmas.
My Halloween candy was gone by Thanksgiving, so.
So yeah, almost time for discounted candy. But with that being said, I mean, did you have anything else to intro, or can we hop right into it?
I say let's get into it. I think we've done enough intros.
Oh wait, real quick on the intro.
yeah,
I just am a Scorpio and I like sushi and tacos and long walks on the beach and yoga.
Oh, well, that's we're doing that. I like tacos. I like technology. And I like Tara.
Oh, you still like me today?
That's enough.
That's good. That's
still
all
like
I
you
asked
enough.
for. Bare minimum.
So we're pushing 6 years into this relationship, by the way. So
Oh yes, we go together.
yeah, so you might hear us argue on this show. We
Sure.
might have a spousal argument right here on this show, and I'm probably not gonna edit it, you know.
No.
Somebody said every day is not gonna be rainbows and butterflies or whatever what's her name said in that one song. And that is the absolute truth. And yeah, so we're here to live this podcast in its truth.
Yeah, you
But
better.
yeah, nah. Yeah, I'm
walk in your truth.
since
Stand in
you
your
said
truth.
you were a Scorpio, I'm a Taurus for what that's worth. Don't really know what any of that means. I just know that I'm a Taurus.
That's so funny because you said Terra Technology and tacos and Taurus. All yours were T's.
I also am a huge alliteration nerd. I will alliterate every sentence if I possibly can. So don't be surprised if I do that.
So yes, enough with the introductions. Back to the topic, which is Valentine's Day. And so I just want to kick it off with, every year it comes up. What's the point?
Every single year.
Is it a commercial holiday? Is it a Hallmark holiday? I even had a friend that recently said it's a scam.
A scam?
But man, I love Valentine's Day.
How is a holiday a scam? Let's go into that.
I have always loved, I think that it's kind of along with the commercialized, they just want you to spend money. But here's the thing.
Okay, so let me break this down. A scam is basically fraudulent activity that results in someone paying money or and not receiving a good
Man,
or a service.
like fire fraud. that
Fire fraud.
that
Good,
Netflix and
my
Hulu,
lord, that was funny.
that was amazing.
That was hilarious, but it was so intriguing.
It's sad what happened
It
to the
really is.
people, but the actual documentaries were very
And
intriguing.
even that wasn't intended to be a scam. It was intended
It
to
could
be the
have
music
been
festival that
a
it was
good
trying to
idea if
be.
it was planned out properly and not
The
rushed.
fraudulent activity came in when basically the guy could not accept the fact that he wasn't going to have everything ready and
Yeah.
chose not to tell people. And yeah, so he ended up overselling it and under delivering, which is where the fraudulent activity came into play.
But
It
back
was
to
intended to be an actual festival, just like Valentine's Day.
but back to
It's
the
marketing.
point.
It's not a scam. It's marketing. So let's
So,
say, for example, go ahead. What you gonna say?
oh, I was just gonna say why I love Valentine's Day, but you can go ahead.
Oh, let me finish
with your
that
for
thing.
example.
So, example. Let's say I'm Hershey's and I'm selling chocolate in a heart-shaped box. If you're going to buy the chocolate, it's the same chocolate, though we can argue that Reese's Christmas trees and Easter eggs taste better than regular Reese's. Point is, I'm selling you a product on Valentine's Day in a heart-shaped box. You're still receiving a product for the money that you're giving Hershey's. So there's no scam involved. It's marketing. Marketing is
Sure.
the point of marketing is to make people spend money.
Well, and I think the thing is, yes, it's commercialized, but so is Christmas, and I still love Christmas. I love
Right.
Easter. I love holidays. I love my birthday. I love
Yeah, you do.
I love anniversaries.
I don't like your birthday because it's so close to Thanksgiving and we always travel, which is right in front of Christmas,
Yeah.
which is right in front of New Year's.
And then blink twice and it's Valentine's Day.
Right.
But anyway, back to my original point. The reason that I've always loved Christmas is because, or not Christmas, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is because my parents always got me Valentine's. So it was like, as a kid, it was a thing growing up. So before I even had a boyfriend or thought about a boyfriend, it was just, man, oh, I got that new Barbie doll I wanted, or I got some candy. And I just love the idea of celebrating love.
My mom was the same way. Before I even got to school, and this is back when you had to pass out the Valentine to the whole class.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I feel like if you had something for the whole class and you could still have your special stuff aside from for the kids you liked. So I did get a few extra of those, but I always had what my mama gave me as soon as I woke up. So, I mean, whether it was just like, a king size candy bar, because think about it, when you're 8 years old, a king size candy bar is like the world.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, my mom would always do the same thing for me too, which, of course, that whole idea of love, it has to start in the household.
Yeah, that's how you learn. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
how you learn. So I agree with you on that.
So what's the point? I'll say I saw someone on Facebook post something about, I think it said, do people in long-term relationships go all out or just go out to dinner and be like, yeah, we made it? I love that, because here's the thing. I don't believe you have to go all out for Valentine's Day. I love Valentine's Day, and I need you to acknowledge it.
All right. That's fair.
But you don't have to go all out. It's not the kind of thing of like, let's compete for how much money we can spend on each other. I
definitely agree with that.
I'm not really big on that. But sit at a dinner table at a nice restaurant that we both love and look across the table and be like, I still like you.
You cute.
Yeah, you know what?
What's your name? You got a boyfriend?
I am a fan of that.
No, for you got a boyfriend?
I actually do. It's kind of serious.
Okay.
But
it ain't like y'all doing a podcast together, so.
But it is crazy, because I think that's important, to take time to mark an occasion, to look each other in the eye and say, I actually, still today, it's, people always say relationships are about choosing every day, choosing that person, like or love, looks, all those things can fade, or your emotions change from day to day, your
Emotions
feelings
do indeed change.
But to be able to be like, hey, you, still like you, that I think is valid. You have to do that. Now, if you choose to do that on Valentine's Day or any other day, obviously that's up to you. But I love Valentine's Day. I think it's a good little reminder of, hey.
Right, because even if you don't go out and buy all the commercialized, directly marketed stuff about Valentine's, even if you don't spend your money on things for Valentine's Day or the specific products, you can still just like get up and make breakfast or like write a
Yeah.
nice handwritten note that you haven't written in a long time.
A little
Or
post-it.
like surprise, like,
A little email.
right.
Note in the car.
Just be like, hey, let's go to the park and go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Something simple. It doesn't have to be about spending a whole bunch of money, which is a big issue in, I guess, American society, probably other parts of the world too, but specifically American society. It's like everybody feels like you have to spend a certain amount of money or you have to appear to have a certain amount of money, when in reality, it's, Valentine's Day is not that serious.
It's not. I mean, you can find...
Like, you can buy me some candy. Just the fact that you thought enough of me to buy me some candy is fine. I don't need a brand new watch for Valentine's Day.
You're not gonna get it.
Good.
Quality time is another good one.
Quality time is extremely important.
And then I'm always a fan of the experience versus a gift. Now, of course, I love gifts.
Of course you
do. I do. But if I had to choose between an experience or a gift, I would always choose an experience. Concert or a comedian or play, stuff like that. It's like that live experience. Sharing that is awesome.
Yeah, most people don't like receiving either gifts or cards because, I mean, what do you do with a card after you give someone a card? Now, granted, I still have every single card you've ever given me.
You better, because I love cards.
Over the last 6 years, whether it was like Christmas or my birthday or Valentine's Day when we were long distance. Dang, we've been together a long time.
We've been together a while.
Wow. But yeah, point is, like, even if you're not that sentimental, things like that are still appreciated. So even if you are just, hell bent on not spending money, especially on something that you generally aren't going to do anything with the next day other than look at it again, it's all about the experience, whether it's something as simple, like you mentioned, going out to eat or experiencing a concert together. It's not about spending money on the holiday itself.
So I will say, if you are going to spend money, my new favorite corny gift is MeUndies.
Yeah, you can buy me underwear for Valentine's Day.
So that's obviously not sponsored. But MeUndies matching underwear is so corny.
It's so corny.
But I love it. And it's like holiday themed too.
It's extremely corny.
It is hilarious to me.
But then we're extremely corny.
I just think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
To just be walking around and be like, ah.
It's like we got the same underwear on and nobody knows. It's like we got matching underwear. Like I get the boxer brief version or the boxers version or the I guess that was only two for guys, I guess. And then, because if I'm correct, MeUndies has like a series of different types of I guess cuts, different cuts of underwear for women.
They have a lot for men too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But yeah, it's that's my new favorite corny thing to do is matching holiday theme.
No, it's like hilarious when we have a secret that nobody knows and we can just sit there and wink at each other all night.
Well, I mean, now people will know, but
they might not. I'll deny it.
Sure. I saw something about how people, I guess millennials, that's the whole thing now. It's just like allegedly poll millennials and see what they're doing. Anyway, it's saying the majority of millennials, this was a Zulily survey, would prefer to spend time with themselves, 51%, or 20% with their pet.
Interesting.
I don't have a pet, so I can't relate to that one. But with yourself, I can relate, because if we weren't together, I would be perfectly fine.
Man, I am the
under
most
the
introverted extrovert you will ever meet in your life. Like, I can be the life of the party 1 minute, and as soon as that party's over, I'm at the house. Do not call me. Do not text me. Don't knock on my door. Don't pull up, nothing.
Some of that comes with age too. I mean, I've always been a homebody.
And I think that's a big part of it.
But I'm even more of a homebody the older I get.
That's got to be a part of it, because I was never like this in college. Sometimes I would just walk around outside for the sake of not being at home and just wait for something to happen. But I mean, yeah, nowadays I'm perfectly fine posting up by myself. What else did it say?
And then it also said that people right before Valentine's Day, 45% of Americans who need to break up with their significant other, instead of having that drama before Valentine's Day, they just turn their phone off, lock their door, and stay home.
I mean, I guess that's kind of smart too. But
I mean, you could just end it.
you can totally just not preserve the drum or not delay it.
Or
But
I would wait, get the gift, and then end it.
of course you would.
I mean, why would you want to? Who would not do that?
That just seems dishonest.
It
But
is.
okay,
It is.
whatever. I gotta watch you.
And then the other one.
Matter of fact, you're not getting the gift until February 16th. How about that?
That's fine. The other one said, okay, so we're not the only weird people. That they would choose to wear a two-person sweater all day to be snuggled up with their significant other. 20%.
A two-person sweater.
I'm not wearing a two-person sweater.
You mean like a sweater that fits two people?
At the same time.
So like my arm comes out of one side, your arm comes out of the other side of the same sweater.
Yeah. It's really weird.
That ain't it, Chief.
I mean, here's the thing.
It's like, I love you, but no. Is there a picture of that?
Yeah. Look at that.
Nah.
It's weird.
No way.
Like, there are a lot of
and
them.
they want to stay in that all day.
And they're on sale.
We can put that on and take a picture and laugh about it.
But I wouldn't want to spend the money on it to take a picture and laugh and then
because
not actually wear. I got stuff to do. I cannot walk around attached to you all day. That's weird.
Nah.
So
not knocking anybody else who's interested in that, but that one is not for me.
So
like, how do you walk around like that?
I don't know.
How it's like three-legged race almost kind of thing.
Most
people fall when they do that.
And that's for what? A few minutes versus
right. No, that's a matter of 30 seconds in most cases, depending on the distance and how athletic you are. But how do you walk around in that all day? Like, you gotta fit through doors, or so you gotta strategically walk through a doorway.
I don't know.
Like, you gotta pivot like on Friends.
Yes, I know Friends. I do.
No, that's too much work. I don't. That one's not for me. Y'all can have that one. That doesn't even sound like fun.
The fact that you're quoting Friends,
body heat plus sweat, no,
says how long we've been together.
Oh yeah, we have. I've never watched Friends on purpose until I got on Netflix here.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, let's answer some questions. So this is a part of the show where we put it on our Instagram. This is TTRL on Instagram and Twitter. So if you would like to send us a question, again, Tara's been writing relationship advice articles and columns and such for the last 10 years. So she was kind of a big deal. So there was this one platform for which she used to write that prior to it going out of business, she was like frequently a top contributor and had a lot of famous people retweeting some of her articles. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, relationship advice, friendship advice, whatever the case is. If you work related issues, we are both higher education professionals as well. So yeah, we kind of know a thing or two about the workplace. We got a lot of friends in corporate who we've heard their horror stories and things like that. I've worked in a semi-corporate situation before. So yeah, if you got questions, or if you just want a second opinion, or if you just want to send us something to be like, yeah, I really did that, can you believe it? AskTTRL@gmail.com. That's the email address. Send us your questions at askttrl@gmail.com. We may read it on the show. We may answer it on the show. Feel free to remain anonymous if you like. Feel free to rename yourself for anonymity purposes. Yeah, just tell us to give you a fake name. We will. Give yourself a fake name. Make a rogue email address. Doesn't really matter. So let's go to the inbox and see what we have.
All right. So the first one is from Kimberly. And it says, I'm making up names.
Okay, cool.
Just making up names. It says, how long should I have been dating my significant other before getting them a Valentine's Day gift?
Okay. My immediate response is, define gift.
That's why I'm looking at you, because you got me a Valentine's Day gift before we technically were dating,
Right.
which is smart.
Do you remember what it was?
I
What I got you?
do. I do. Absolutely, I still have it. Um,
What was it?
it was a bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that was perfect because it was thoughtful, but it wasn't too over the top to be like, okay, now calm down.
Yeah. It was a nice little charm bracelet. That was like pink and green. It's your favorite
Right.
colors / your sorority.
Right.
Then the person who started it also your sorority sister. So I was also in turn supporting a black business, supporting a
Right.
minority business, supporting an entrepreneur in general. So at that point it's just like, hey, I'm thinking about you.
Right.
So it's not
And-
even like, I didn't go out and buy you like a car
Right.
or a laptop or
And the funny thing is, it was
a purse.
I went through the whole day like, you know what? It's okay. He didn't give me anything. And then I get home and it's in my mailbox. And I was like, well,
I was
this
just
is nice.
hoping they got there on time.
Yeah. So,
Because I was in Dallas. The person I ordered it from, I'm pretty sure she was either in Houston or New Orleans at the time. And she shipped it from where she was. So I was trying to make sure it got to Virginia on time.
Yeah, I was in Virginia at the time.
So it worked.
So
the point is, it's like, yes, sometimes it can be too soon for how you would traditionally give someone a gift. Like, it doesn't have to be, an expensive gift. Again, gifts are generally things to let someone know that you're thinking about them. I mean, if for example, if you have a toothbrush that you really enjoy and you want that person to experience that same joy that you get from brushing your teeth, buy them the same toothbrush.
What?
It doesn't have to be anything specific. You can just get them a candy bar with a Valentine's Day label on it.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy people a purse, or you said this was Kimberly, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, you don't have to buy your recently started dating guy a whole suit or a designer belt or a bag or anything like that. You don't have to go all out just yet,
Definitely don't go all out.
A nice fragrance, maybe.
I would say get them a gift, regardless of how long it's been, but scale the gift to how long it's been and where you think you are in that relationship.
Make it proportional. Yes. That would be the biggest piece of advice there.
So let's say it's just been a couple of months, maybe a bracelet.
Maybe you're not even official yet and you just want to, take steps towards being official.
Something they've mentioned that they like. For instance, when we first started dating, you were obsessed with granola bars. So
I definitely had
I could have gotten you a box of granola bars, and that would have been
there was a time that was
just
all
as thoughtful as candy or whatever.
The fact that you got me something that you knew I liked, I was like, oh wow, she was paying attention when I talked.
And that's what it really boils down to. So if it's early, I would say 6 months or less, then just try to think of something that they like, a certain brand or something like that. Maybe their favorite beer, their favorite whatever.
A gift card to Best Buy. You can never go wrong giving me a gift card to Best Buy.
See, I disagree. I would get you a gift card now because, here.
I mean, but if it's that early in the relationship,
I would get an actual thing.
Okay, an actual
even
thing.
if it's a small thing. I would wait a year before you start getting like too extravagant.
Yeah. Do you remember maybe the second or third Valentine's Day gift I got you? There was one year, I think, when I first moved here, the Valentine's Day present. No, it was when you first moved here, and I came up here from Dallas. That was a pretty cool thing how we did that. It was we didn't even actually get each other actual gifts.
Yeah.
It was more like, how would you describe it? Because it technically was a gift. You handed me something.
It was a gift, but it wasn't technically a gift. Yeah, I would say like a homemade
homemade
type of more creative. Kind of
yeah. Yes, get creative. Do that. Show the man you got creativity, or show your lady you got creativity. I don't know what Kimberly's situation is there, but yeah. You want to say what those were or no? You don't have to. I was gonna let you do it if you do.
Sure, I don't care. So my favorite singer is Maxwell, and so you got me a box of fortune cookies. and had like a cute little "fortunate to have you, girl" note on there, and it was amazing. So I
I'm
mean,
such a
that
nerd.
to me is like, oh my gosh, I love Maxwell. So,
Yeah.
and I should say my favorite male artist. Did I say male?
You said favorite singer.
My favorite male. Okay.
One of your favorite singers. Top 3.
And then I got you these bananas that said,
one, I love bananas.
bananas for you.
2, I'm an alpha. So yeah.
Yeah. So just something creative.
Creative, like make it make sense. That's all.
Yeah. All right. Good luck, Kimberly. Let's get to the next one.
Thanks for your question, Kimberly.
Do guys care whether or not they get a gift? And this is from Tina.
Okay, so I'm assuming that one's directly from me. Do we care? In most cases, no. Even if we do care, we're gonna act like we don't. But we do. Guys do appreciate effort. We do like feeling appreciated. We like the effort that you put in. We like when our effort is matched. So if you were expecting a gift, I would expect something as well. I mean, again, it doesn't have to be like anything dramatically expensive or, just you don't have to go all out. But, say for instance, if I buy you a tennis bracelet or something, I would at least like a nice tie.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. But again, it obviously depends on the person. I'm speaking for most guys that I know and myself in general. But yeah, something. Pretend to try, if nothing else.
Not pretend to try. Okay. The next question is from Jill and
Jilly. Where Jilly from?
Jilly.
She from Philly?
I don't know. And it says, I'll let you answer this one first, and then I'll chime in. Is it a good or bad idea to propose on Valentine's Day?
So, wow, you looking at me hard. I had to look at the camera for a second. By the way, part of the show is at least going to be on YouTube. At least part of the show will be on our YouTube channel as well. Since we just started all of this.
Facial expressions.
Yeah, because you need to see the facial expression I just made. And my response to the facial expression she just made at me really hard. Yeah, we're on YouTube. You got to search for this is TTRL because we don't have enough subscribers yet to like have our own URL or whatever. YouTube is the only place where you got to wait to have your own URL. Anyway, yeah. So here's my thing. Here's my thought on proposing on holidays or birthdays or any specific time. Like graduation or the day you start, whatever. Point is, here's my thing. In the event that the relationship doesn't work, let's say 5 years down the road, let's say for all intents and purposes, because a lot of people say that wrong.
It's not intensive purposes.
It's not intensive purposes. It's intense and purposes. So for all intents and purposes, let's say I propose to you on Valentine's Day.
Aww.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get married. Yeah. All right, so 5 years from now, or let's say a year or two from now, whatever the case is, let's say we have a terrible breakup, and now every Valentine's Day you're gonna remember the fact that I proposed to you on Valentine's Day. So in the future, Valentine's Day is gonna be ruined for the next guy. Ruined for the next guy. So at that point, it's just like you don't want to celebrate Valentine's Day anymore because somebody proposed to you, or you got proposed, or you did the proposal and the relationship didn't work. It's even worse on birthdays. It's way worse on Christmas or whatever winter solstice holiday you celebrate. I'm trying to be inclusive.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like Thanksgiving, especially in front of the family. Because then Thanksgiving is going to be ruined. So every time you go back home for Thanksgiving, they're like, oh, you ain't bringing nobody this time, are you? And yeah, so your whole family going to make fun of you for that. Graduation. One of my best friends proposed to his current wife on his graduation. He proposed to her on his graduation, which I thought was a bit different.
Yeah.
It's
his day.
It's his day.
And then it made it her day.
And then also there's a whole nother argument there. Like if I propose to you on when you graduate with your master's, because you're probably going to graduate a year before me, and that's fine. But if I propose to you on the day you graduate from your master's, I'm making your day partially about me. So I personally don't think that that's the best idea for the aforementioned reason and the fact that you're kind of taking attention away from when it's graduation, taking attention away from the achievement, from the accomplishment that you worked hard for. From birthdays. Some people don't think of their birthday as that big of a deal. Yep, there went the camera. So some people don't think their birthday is that big of a deal, but it just takes away the attention. Just let someone have that moment, you know?
Yeah. I actually agree with you. As a woman who doesn't believe in women proposing, you just, I mean, I feel like you decide whatever day you want to do that on. And I'll just have to respond accordingly. I'm not gonna be like, no, it's my birthday, pick another day. But at the same time, yeah, I agree with you 100% that, instead of taking this already big day and, I don't know, I think it's kind of stereotypical. And honestly, I think it's kind of cheesy. No shade to anyone who does that or did that.
I personally wouldn't do that. Just for the reasons I mentioned earlier. And I also think it's cheesy. It's just like, I personally would rather surprise the hell out of you another day. Like you wouldn't see it coming at all and just catch you completely off guard. That's what I would rather do.
I agree. But teach his own.
Yeah, because on the holiday, it's even worse if you're expecting it on the holiday and then it doesn't happen. So then the whole holiday is ruined for that reason.
Ruined. So our next question is from Beverly.
Hey, Beverly.
And Beverly said, what is the biggest challenge about being in a long-term relationship?
The biggest challenge about being in a long-term relationship. I would say, man, that's a question. The biggest challenge I'm going to say is long-term relationships, especially when both sides of the family are involved. It sucks when a loved one passes. There's a lot of emotions you got to deal with. Like when your mom's mom passed, that was obviously rough for you, but it was just as rough for me, or maybe not just as rough, but it was pretty rough for me too.
Yeah.
Because, that was your grandmother. I had gotten to meet her. We had our own little special bond and things like that. And, one trying to be there for you and, take care of things. It's that I would say that would be the biggest challenge is, when you have to be there for, the tougher times like that. Because I've never been in a short-term relationship where I had to be that involved in.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Prior to this, the longest quote relationship I was in was like I stretched it out. So just so I could say I was in a relationship for a year.
Well, and then prior to this, the longest relationship I was in, it was off and on. So you didn't really have enough ons to be there in those difficult times.
True.
You mentioned my grandmother. I went through the same thing when your grandmother passed recently. It's like, man, you got so close to that person. Your family becomes my family and vice versa. But yeah, the whole like good times and bad thing, sickness and health, all of that with vows. It's like, yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do have to be there for that person. That's a really good point.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's the biggest challenge that you and I have faced, and it's really more so, just being strong for each other.
Yeah.
But it comes with the territory. It's something that you got to prepare for. Luckily, your family loves me. I love your family, and my family loves you, and you love my family, vice versa. So we don't really have any real family issues, but it hurts just as much when something like that happens.
True.
That would be the biggest. That's probably been the biggest challenge for me is just having to deal with that.
For me, I would say keeping things fresh. I can't remember the exact quote of the Beyonce lyric, but there's one where she's like, I'm gonna keep things how they are so you can never say how they used to be.
Keep
man, that is I love singing those lyrics. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. That is harder to actually do in real life. To really, because I mean, that first however long, I feel like we had the longest honeymoon phase of anybody I know.
Right. We really
but
did.
you know, of course, reality hits, and it's like, okay, you kind of get into, well, I'll say I get into the monotony of day-to-day life and kind of sometimes forget those little things that you're just automatically doing when things are new and fresh because you're so excited. So just trying to remember, which is again why I love Valentine's Day. Trying to like set aside time. Like I think we're probably not the best at date nights, like
Yeah, we do need to work on
stereotypical
that.
date nights. I mean, we go out, we spend time together kind of more authentically, but we don't really have this set date night or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, okay, note to self, like just like I have to remind myself to wash my car, or this is bad, I'm really bad at like cleaning out my car, but like little stuff like that, it's like, okay, let me put it on the calendar, or order new contacts, which I mean, it's not a chore, but it is something you have to be intentional about. Is like, okay, all right, I did this X, Y, and Z, I need to carve out some just us time, or I need to, you know, be vocal about my appreciation or things like that. So
I agree, because there's gonna be days where you come home from work
mm-hmm.
and what's this person's name?
Right, man. Sometimes I forget you live here. I really.
That's not what I meant, but yeah,
Oh,
I mean that counts too. That's kind of going. That's the same thing where I was going. I was asking who the person who sent this question.
Oh, I think I said
Either way,
Tina.
person who sent the question. There's gonna be days where you come home from work and you're tired, you're emotionally drained, you're mentally drained, and you don't want to see anybody. You want to crawl in your bed and go to sleep.
Right.
But I come home from work days like that, where I'm out doing this, I'm out doing that, and as soon as I get to the house, I just want to turn off lights and maybe turn on the TV for background noise and just lay there, unplug, and like throw my phone across the room just so nobody can bother me.
It's a whole other person,
and there's a whole other person here who wants to tell me about her day, and I gotta sit and listen to it because you are so quick to tell me about your day and all the details and stuff. Yes. And sometimes I should be like, oh my gosh, shut up. Are you done?
You done?
Are you done? Are you done?
You done?
Are you done?
Yeah.
But it's just like you should be going and going and going. So the fact that, again, it's not a chore and it shouldn't feel like a chore. Sometimes it might, to be fair. But you have to remember why you're with that person. You have to remember why you love that person. And just remember that, you know, they probably going to have the same type of day when you're having an amazing day and they just don't want to be bothered with you. But you can't take that personally. Just like Monica said, it's just one of them days.
Woo, preach.
But you know, it happens like that. That's one of the bigger challenges that anybody in any relationship will face. Or like even if it's just a friendship or family members, you know. Because there were days when I would come home from school and just be yelling at my mom, like, "Mama, this happened. Mama, I need some this. I need blah blah blah. Mama, mama, mama." She's like, "Oh my God, shut up." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." But when you can I finish this first and then I'll shut up?
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much any relationship where somebody cares about you or you care about somebody. That's gonna happen that way. Yeah. So it's just, you know, help them understand when you need to be alone. That's like the biggest thing. Because if I come in the studio and close the door, you generally know not to. Yeah. You know, like you'll say hi, you'll check on me, and that's about it. You know, if I got headphones in, you don't bother me, and I absolutely appreciate you for knowing not to bother me when I got headphones on. But yeah. Yeah, so again, just be transparent. Let the person know. It's all about communication.
Yeah.
You have another question, or?
Yeah, I think we can make this one our last.
Okay.
If you're okay with that. So this question is from Davis.
What's up, Davis?
And Davis says, "What took y'all so long to go from the radio station to Tara Talks Ryan Listens,
Davis,
the podcast?"
Who's Davis? I bet you I know who Davis is.
You probably do.
Okay, well, Davis.
So
I know exactly who Davis is.
I'll start, I guess.
Okay, go ahead. Davis.
I'll say what took me so long. Sometimes, and you'll know as this podcast goes on, that Ryan and I are very big proponents of mental health and self care and, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I felt very overwhelmed once that chapter ended, and I needed a break.
Yeah.
And we both are so busy. We have a million other things that we're involved in and working on.
There's things we
And
should be more involved in that we aren't as involved in.
exactly. And so yeah, it's I don't like starting something until I know I can give my all to it. So I wouldn't want to put out one episode and then it'd be like 6 months later and people are like, what happened to that podcast? I wanted to make sure, okay, we both can have consistency with it and both take the time out of our day to really work on it. And so for me, that was my hesitation is, okay, are we ready to do this? Do we have the time? Let me take a break and recoup mentally from other things going on in life. And then when I'm in a better place, then we can dive into that.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially what you said about mental health and self-care and all of that. That was a very big part of it. When we were at the radio station, it got to the point where I was extremely stressed out. I had literally stretched myself too thin. Won't get into the details there, but ultimately it was around the time we just talked about my grandmother passing. It was around the time where she got really sick, and I was also in my really busy season at work, at my day job at the university at which I work. So I was on campus literally 14 hours every day for the month of June, and then like 2 more weeks in July. Um, and then the radio station was basically whenever I wasn't somewhere else. If I wasn't out on a photo shoot or a video shoot, or at a fraternity function or at a church event, if I wasn't at any of those places, I was at the radio station. And then I, reached out and I was like, hey, this is my busy season for work. I'm going to be scarce. So if it's an emergency, hit me up. I'll do what I can. And I thought there was an understanding about that. Apparently there wasn't. So I was just like, you know what? This might be time to transition out. Ended it on good enough terms. No bridges were burned, I hope. Doesn't seem that way. But after that, I was like worn out mentally. I really needed to sit down somewhere because I'm not good at sitting down somewhere. I really never have been. I've always wanted to be involved in everything. High school, same way. College, same way. I was like, if there was a thing, I was involved in it. Which, I learned like halfway through college. I was like, you know what? What's really the point in being in all of these organizations if I'm not really making a difference in these organizations? Preach. I'm just here. I'm just showing up to be showing up. In a lot of cases, I was just going places to be seen, Mm-hmm. So there were things I could have done a lot better. But, again, it's about priorities. And at that point, the priority was self-care, was taking care of my mental health, especially right at the time when my grandmother was getting real sick. And, that was like really my first time losing, a family member that close, so I didn't know how to deal with it. Like I had to, like take some time off from work because, again, I was still in that busy season and I had to just like, miss part of that busy season to go home and, help out with the funeral and the planning and, look out for my mom and all of that kind of stuff. So it was, after all of that, we just needed a break. Then right after that, the fall came around, we started another busy season at work. And we literally just needed to rest. So there were days when I would come home from work and not do anything. I would just sit somewhere, sit on the couch. Like I've never been a huge person to just sit down and watch TV. I was sitting down and watching TV. Like I bought a game system. I generally don't play video games much up until recently. I bought an Xbox and was just having the time of my life on Grand Theft Auto, just driving around and crashing into stuff and doing Grand Theft Auto type things. And not leaving the house, because I really just needed a mental break. So that was a big part of why we took the actual time off. But yeah, so that's a big part of it. Also, we really wanted to make sure, like she mentioned, we wanted to make sure we just had the time to be consistent. And I think we got it figured out at this point. So you can pretty much expect us to do this show weekly. So that's pretty much how we're going to say that. Yeah, and then September rolls around. September was kind of rough. Was very rough on
Oh,
you specifically.
yeah. I had a really bad car accident, broke my ankle, had to have surgery on said ankle.
We got stairs in this house,
Yeah.
and there was a good 3 weeks where you couldn't go upstairs.
Mm,
2.5, whatever.
it was, yeah. I mean, it was, yeah. It was a long time.
Yeah.
Felt like whew, PTSD. But yeah, so I mean, we had a lot of life happen in 2018. 2018 was low key trash for the majority.
I'm starting to think I don't get along with even numbered years.
I think 2020 will be good.
I think so too.
But yeah, so that I hope that answers your question, Davis.
Davis, you ain't slick. I know exactly who Davis is.
Whatever.
I see you.
So we have a few more questions. I'm going to go ahead and save those till next week.
Cool.
So thank you to everyone who sent questions in. Again, if you want to...
TTRL.
Right. If you want to send us
gmail.com.
questions, askttrl@gmail.com is the email address. And it could be questions about relationships because, like I said, we give relationship advice quite a bit to friends.
It can be questions about us. It can be questions about what to do when you move to a new city because we both experienced that. Just anything.
Work-life balance.
Like I said, even
family,
if you just
friend
want a
drama.
second opinion about something.
Yes. So feel free to send those in and we may read them aloud and give you some feedback on that. I guess we should wrap it up.
Yeah, we are already pushing 50 minutes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and...
Time flies.
It does.
When you're having fun, this is kind of fun. Oh, get off me.
So let's end it with a quick tip for V-Day.
Quick tips for V-Day. Yes. My first piece of advice, regardless of your situation, if you're single, if you're newly dating, if you're married, if you're divorced and trying to date somebody else, or if you're divorced and trying to work it out, whatever the case is, have fun. That's the first thing. Have fun. Don't stress yourself out. Because again, we're very big on mental health. So that's always my first piece of advice is not to stress yourself out. So have fun. Don't stress yourself out. Don't stress your other person out. And just remember, you're doing it because you enjoy this person, not because you need everybody to see what enjoying that other person looks like, because you're not doing it for them. There's two people in your relationship.
Not social media.
Not social media is not part of your relationship. Social media is not in the relationship with you. Like, yes, share your relationship on social media to an extent, but do not put all your business out.
So my quick tip for Valentine's Day would be to try to get creative along the same lines of having fun. Some of the most fun that I have with gifts for you is trying to surprise you because you're very hard to surprise. So the more I can be a sneaky sneak and get creative and
get up early.
I literally have to get up early to pull one over on you. But the more I can find cute, fun stuff on Pinterest and like really get creative, honestly, seriously, the best gifts are like free or cheap, and that's literally just like getting that crafty side of me out and like how can I, because you're very hard to buy for because you buy a lot of stuff for yourself already. So
yeah, and I'm particular about
you
stuff
are
too.
very particular. I actually got you. I'm just gonna go ahead and say I got you something for Christmas. It was the wrong brand. And so I returned it and got the right one.
And the thing was, I wasn't gonna say a word. I could
know.
tell that it was supposed to be a specific brand, but it looked like that brand and wasn't that brand. But again, it wasn't about that brand but at the end of the day, that brand is not going to take care of me when I'm sick like Tara will. So I was like, you know what?
It's the thought that counts.
Took time to find this item, and I'm going to enjoy it just like it was the brand I would have wanted. Because I mean, it was still a very nice item. So, but I am glad that you did realize that it was the wrong
brand. But anyway, so my advice is to get creative, have fun, get on Pinterest, and find some cute little creative homemade things that you can do. So yeah.
Yeah. My last piece of Valentine's advice. Wait till the candy goes on sale and then buy the candy.
Yep.
Because let's be honest, Terry, you know I love you.
Sure.
Me buying you candy on February 13th to give it to you on the 14th is not going to make
It's
me
not
love you
smart.
anymore. It's not going to make you love me anymore.
No.
I'm going to go get all of them turtles
Yep.
on the 15th.
See, you already know.
Yeah. So, yeah, wait till tomorrow. Wait till it goes on sale because it's like 50+% off. Why not? So, I think that's about all I got.
Yeah.
So, we have anything else for the show before we wrap up?
I think that's all I have.
Man, so our first episode is officially in the books. TTRL, hashtag TTRL. We are on social media at This Is TTRL. TTRL, if you haven't figured it out, stands for Terra Talks, Ryan Listens. Quick backstory on why the show is called Terra
Oh
Talks,
yeah,
Ryan Listens.
that's
I don't
what
think
I
we've
meant
explained
to
that
say.
yet.
Yes.
So the reason why the show is called Terra Talks, Ryan Listens is because when we were at the radio station we've been talking about, Terra had basically a talk show, right? And I was the producer for it. I also had my own show, which I love 90s music. So I had a show called Throwback Thursdays, where I would play music from the 70s and 80s, and then music from the 90s, and then music from the 2000s. It was like a 3-hour show, so I would do like 80s, 70s, and 80s in 1 hour, 90s in 1 hour, and then 2000s in the last hour. But Terra Talks was a big hit. Definitely one of the most popular shows on the station. You would interview different guests and things like that. So we had like the mayor of Fayetteville, Arkansas. We've had like entrepreneurs, we've had actors, we've had a few business people. Just we had a politician, and we've had the station director on to talk about the station and the vision for the station, all of that kind of stuff. So it was a pretty cool show. Terra Talks was kind of building some momentum. But so now that we're no longer at the radio station, a talk show with guests is kind of weird with no platform. So now we're rebuilding the platform. Still calling it Terra Talks, but I'm here on the show with you now rather than producing.
I also think it's funny because
we're in a relationship and the woman talks and I gotta listen.
Yes.
Yeah. Take it that way too.
Yay.
But yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up for me. We are on social media individually as well. Follow me, Instagram and Twitter. I think I still got a Snapchat. THERY_C. That's the RYC. Somebody had RYC already, and it was some guy in London who didn't even tweet, so I had to put D in front of all of them. But I'm still upset about that. Yeah. Even today, I think dude got like 4 tweets, and the last one was like 2010. So I'm kind of mad he got to it before I did. Anyway, THERY_C.
I guess you can follow me. I'm TCAR_examiner on Instagram and Twitter. I'm thinking about changing that though. I'm not sure yet.
Cool.
Email me if you want me to change it.
Yeah. Again, email us, askttrl@gmail.com if you have questions you want us to ask on the show and answer on the show. And yeah, stay tuned for next week. Again, thank you for listening to our first official episode of this podcast. Quick shout out to, I got to do this, to my inspiration for doing this podcast.
Yes.
Sway in the morning.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say. I love Sway too. Okay, go ahead.
Sway in the morning. Yeah, obviously Sway is a very, very, very critical part of the entire hip hop and pop culture.
And has been since we were kids. And
that man is still going strong. You can't even tell. He's been around since the early 90s. Shout out Heather B. Heather B is an OG as well. Y'all gotta watch her do these cooking shows. I'm trying to do these recipes because she got a bunch of recipes on her Instagram about air fryers and stuff. My mom just got me one for Christmas. So yeah, air fryer. And of course, my absolute favorite podcast, The Read.
Our favorite podcast that I put you on to.
I would have never found The Read had it not been for Tara. And at first I was like, what is this? Yeah. And then after a while I started listening to it without you. So yeah. They are a very big part of what inspired us to do this show. You might find a lot of similarities. Shout
out to Kid Fury and Crystal, and anything that we do that's similar is definitely
I swear we're not biting.
It's not biting. It's out of pure love and respect and
admiration.
Yeah. And we will come to every live show we possibly can.
Oh my God, the live show was so fun.
The live show's
we got to do another live show.
So yeah, definitely Kid Fury and Crystal. Shout out to them for being one of the best, probably the best podcast out there right now, especially for the African American community,
for the culture.
Yes. But yeah.
So that pretty much wraps it up. Again, this is TTRL.
Terra Talks.
Ryan Listens. A Versatile Optics production.